Hi, my name's Zoe. This is just a short little sequence to help work on stretching out your psoas muscle. Our psoas muscle is one of our hip flexors that attaches at the front of our spine, and it runs through into attach at the top of the leg as well. It's a muscle that can be quite tight for a lot of us, especially if we tend to sit for long periods at a time. Let's get started. So we're going to start with lying down onto our bellies. So you're going to need a blanket for this one. So we want the blanket to be folded. If you don't have a blanket, you can use a nice thick towel or maybe two towels doubled together, and you want to make it into this size. From here, we're going to actually fold it into three. So we fold 1 and 2. Try and flatten that out, and then bring that lengthways. And we want the hard edge, not the soft edge. We're going to roll it up. So if you've ever been camping, you've got that sleeping bag, you've got to roll it up nice and tight to get it back into that little sleeping bag case. You want to think of that action here. So we're going to roll it up nice and tight. And this little bit here, we're going to lie onto and bring it into the belly. Now we want this to be nice and tight. It's going to actually sit to the inside of the hips. So if it's sitting on the outside of the hips, you need to fold it so it's a little bit tighter. We want it to sit onto the inside of the hips. So again, we bring it into that 3-fold, roll it in nice and tight, and then extend the legs back and bring this little roll onto the belly, just above the pubic bone and below the belly button. So the hip joints sit around the outside edge of that roll. And then just lie down onto the stomach. You can just bring the forehead onto the hands. If it's more comfortable to turn the head, you can do so. Just extend the legs back and really focus on trying to relax the stomach muscles. The psoas muscle sits underneath the stomach muscles. So we really need to focus on relaxing those belly muscles to allow us to try to find access into our psoas. With each exhalation, just try to let the stomach and the hips sink down towards the floor. And that pressure from the roll will gently press into that psoas area. We're going to just gently lean into the left side. So try to draw that left hip down towards the floor. Take a little bit more weight into the left side. You might feel just an extra pressure into the left psoas, the left stomach. You might even feel it more on the right side, just depending on how your body is today. And we'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Nice deep inhalation and exhalation. With each exhalation, really just try to focus on softening and letting go. Inhale, come back through center. And then changing sides, just letting that right hip come down, taking the weight into the right side. It's a really nice release for our psoas muscle. For those people who sit every day, this muscle can become quite constricted and tight. It's really nice. Just take some time to gently release and relax this muscle. Come back through center. And again, just letting both hips reach down around the outside of that roll. And then gently taking the hands underneath the shoulders and gently lifting up and just moving the blanket to one side. Next, we're going to come into a lunge stretch, but let's just work into downward dog first. So spread the fingers nice and wide, tuck the toes under, and just take a couple of breaths, stretching out in your downward dog. Inhale, draw the right leg up, and exhale, bring it through in between the hands. Come down onto the left knee. Lunge into the left leg. Bend the left foot, take hold of the left foot. You can stay onto the fingers, or if it's available to you, work on drawing the left forearm down towards the floor. Draw the foot in towards the buttocks and lunge that left thigh into the floor. You can also turn the right foot out to the side and draw the right shoulder up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale, release the left foot. Bring the hands back down to the floor. Tuck the left toes under and stretch back into downward dog. We'll change sides. Inhale the left leg, draw it up. Exhale as we bring it through. Come down onto the right knee. Bending the right leg, take hold of the right foot and lunge deep into the right leg. Again, you can stay onto the hand. If it's available to you, you can come down onto the forearm, maybe turn the left foot out and lunge into that right hip. Draw the left shoulder up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. And just take some nice deep breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale, release. Place the hands down. Step the left foot back. Come into downward dog. Again, just take a couple of breaths stretching in our downward dog. And come forward into pigeon pose. So draw the right foot forward. Come down onto the shin. You can work on keeping the right heel towards the left hip. If it's available for you, you can work on drawing the foot further forward. But we don't want to roll and drop into our right hip. So you may want to keep that leg down. So we want to square off the hips. Internal rotation on the back leg. Make sure the hip, knee and ankle are in line with each other. Bring the hands down to the floor. Tuck the left toes under. Just lift the left knee away from the floor. Then press the left heel back behind you. Work on drawing the right hip back down. Lift that left leg up nice and high. Come onto the knuckles and just lean forward gently. The front of your left hip, draw the front of the left hip up. And then from the front of your left hip lifting, continue the lift to lift and open into the chest, maybe gazing forward. Keep pressing that left heel back. Shoulders relaxed, neck nice and long. 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands back down. Step the right foot back into your downward dog. And changing sides, drawing the left foot forward. Again, depending on the flexibility through your hip, you can keep the foot drawing in towards the right hip or bring the foot further forward. Make sure that we're not leaning into the left hip. We want the outside of the right hip rolling down. Hip, knee and ankle in line with each other, and internal rotation. So the inner thigh on that right leg lifts up. Coming forward. Bring the hands down. Tuck the toes of the right foot under and lift the right knee away from the floor. Press the right heel back behind you to take the weight back into your left hip. And rather than just arching into the back and compressing into the lower back, come forward. You can even take the hands onto the front of the hip and just gently guide and lift through the front of the hip. This is where we get into that deep psoas muscle. So lifting through the front of the hip. Then if you can, continuing that lift up into the upper back and shoulders. Relax shoulders away from the ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, and exhale, release. Releasing back into your downward dog. And just bringing the knees to the floor and releasing.